Good evening. We are the Civic Memorial PE Department. Today we are going to talk to you guys about the advancements we're having in our Weight Fit program, the addition of Ms. Parrish's Mindfulness PE, and several policy changes and procedural changes that we've had that we've seen have a big impact on our student engagement and involvement in classes. The first one we're going to look at here is the Civic Weight Fit advancement that is taught by Coach Reynolds and myself. Part of this program is that when I was brought in and hired last June, one of the things that they talked to me about was Coach Jarman's goal to have a united weightlifting program that all of our athletic coaches felt comfortable sending their students to trust them, that they were going to get the proper strength and conditioning that they needed to prepare to compete at the highest levels. And that is what our vision is to create and continue to develop that program that every coach feels that they can send their kid, that they're going to receive the training and nourishment and development that they need to compete. We want to provide the highest quality strength and conditioning program so that we can have those athletes that are capable of competing and earning not just conference championships, but are also pushing for state championships as well. One of the major pushes that we are going to use is through data-driven, science-backed training methodologies. We use smart technology through the output sports system. We don't attack every single athlete as a singular entity. We differentiate, and we'll talk about that further. We actually address each of our athletes' needs and the continued partnerships that we've developed over the last 2 years. So at the heart of our Weight Fit program is the Output Sports app. This is a new technology. It's called velocity-based training. So pretty much all of the things that we thought about athletic training, the way that I was raised initially was brought up in the strength and conditioning world, is wrong, right? The whole grind until you go to failure is wrong, and moving more towards what we call load management. That instead of going until complete failure, that we need to be watching and chasing speed and going into particular training zones rather than just grinding out. And in fact, like I said, grinding out is actually detrimental. It creates slower, less powerful athletes. And so this new technology, which as you can see in the upper right there, is a device that is worn by all of our student athletes. It tracks bar speed, it tracks how high they jump, it tracks the angle at which they are doing certain lifts and activities. This is all monitored through the device that's connected to cellular devices that they use. We monitor it on the output hub. We can see all of the workouts that they do. We can see the power that they generate. We can see when red flags get raised for different aspects of it. We see weakening in student athletes that is indicated that they might be having some injury issues. We pull students off, and it allows them to really go to where they're at in their training. It drives accountability because we can sit there and see how quickly they get done with their workouts. We can say, hey, you did 5 workouts in the span of 2 minutes. Let's be real here, okay? And so that's one of the things that there. But really one of the things that is most important for us is that we're not just developing student athletes physically, but also mentally. Student athletes are the most susceptible to depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideations. And one of the major aspects of the output device is that we do SEL check-ins with our students every single day. We monitor that every single day. They go through, before they start their workout, they do a simple 5-question, how are you feeling mentally today? How is your body feeling today? How is your stress levels today? And we outline that with them. We go through, we talk with them. Hey, if you're feeling awesome today, that's a 5. If you're feeling like you need to talk to somebody, put a 1 in there and we'll get the support that you guys need, okay? And so one of the things that this has done, it promotes reflection, helps identify students needing support. I went over and coordinated with our MTSS coordinator today. We implemented this system at the beginning of 2nd semester. We have had 22 referrals, 5 of whom used that information to either start a new 504 IEP or provide additional supports for them, and 2 of whom had serious mental health issues, that we were able to get them additional supports outside of school that have been beneficial, and we've had conversations with those student athletes. So for us, it's more than just the data that gets put back on the physical aspect of it, but it's us developing them holistically as a student athlete and caring about them more than just being a student or an athlete, but who they are as a person as well. One of the things that we do in this program is we don't want to have a singular identity as to who we are in lifting. Every person needs something different, and so we actually have 4 classes within inside each of our weight fit classrooms. We have groups that are in the power, which is our wrestlers, our football players, and our track and field athlete throwers. And this is more of the traditional higher end, big weights, throw them around. We have our functional lifting group, which is, these are more of your soccer players, your volleyball players, people who don't necessarily need to bench press 350 pounds, but instead have other key aspects that they need to be targeting. And so we focus more on posterior chain development and ensuring that they have the agility and explosiveness to be top tier athletes in their specific. We had block 0, which is an introductory and safety to technique. One of the things is that we can't just throw all of these student athletes into this class and expect them to keep up with, freshmen, keeping up with the seniors who are advanced and doing extremely complex lifts. So I was fortunate I had a student teacher this year, Vinny Kafaza, and he and I oversaw the block 0, and he worked personally with very small groups to ensure that they were trained properly. And then we also have our in-season athletes. So all of our starting varsity athletes are allowed to do maintenance and fatigue management to ensure that they're at peak performance for whenever their varsity competitions come through. Over the last year and a half, we've been able to create many successful collaborations. Predominantly, we're working with Mr. Aaron Season and Mrs. Leah Bruckner, our athletic trainers. I work with them on a daily basis, creating not just rehab, but also prehab programs for student athletes where we've identified weaknesses, knee issues, back issues, students coming off of injuries. We don't want to send them out because generally that means that they're going to be off of the, taken off of the shelf per se. And so we try to create rehab programs with the guidance of the certified athletic trainers, as well as prehab programs as well, in which case we identify students and say, hey, we don't like the way this is looking before it becomes an issue. We're going to focus more on these issues over here. We have our connections with the social worker and the MTSS team working on the emotional health, and we talked about focusing on, ensuring that our student athletes are mentally in a great place. But we've also created a partnership with Optimum Nutrition, in which case we have a protein supplement sponsorship where our student athletes can purchase protein, which is vital to their recovery, at an extremely discounted rate. We were able to start a program where they actually have access to protein within the classroom. They buy fundraising cards, which we get a very small portion of that to help purchase and supply the weight room, but they can come in immediately, walking out of the door of the weight fit classroom. They get their protein shakes, and then they go back into the locker room and go back and get ready for class. So the weight fit, we believe, I was a person who I was very fortunate and lucky to have a very well and strong developed weight program where I came from. This is something that we are excited about bringing here to Civic Memorial, that all of our student athletes feel that they can trust in what we're doing, that they can all have a unified lifting program. So everybody's on the same page, everybody can talk the same language. We are excited about the output program, which we're very fortunate to have. Last year, a large portion of that was paid for through a grant for social emotional well-being. We're very excited and hopeful that that grant will be renewed, especially with the data that we're able to put forward and showing that we're using it effectively, which is the most important part, that we're making sure that our student athletes are safe, especially with the risks that they receive. But this is also one of the other important factors is that these students are working together. It's not the basketball team working by itself or the football team working by itself, but instead they're all working together. They're all seeing the work and effort that each of them are putting in, and we're growing and developing in school pride that way because they are excited to see their classmates do well in their own competitive fields.
All right. So mindfulness PE has it came about last year. Was that right, Mr. Knoll? We started on it the year before, working on it, and implemented it last year. So with this, we take students that are at risk for different reasons and pull them out of regular physical education class, and they come to my classroom, and we deal with, you name it, we deal with it on a daily. That's no lie. But we do a lot of enhanced communication. We try to build the trust among the students. A lot of them that are in there feel like they have no voice. So when they come into that classroom, they have a voice and they have no friends, they feel like, and they create friendships. So it's communication, building trust, the collaboration, resolve conflict all the time because it's high school kids. They get into drama, and those are usually the drama kids, not gonna lie. So we work through that and give them skills that, other than taking it to another level. They are able to talk through things and use communication. Leadership, the kids that you don't normally see in a leadership role have stepped up because they feel like they're valid. They have a voice and they're being heard. And it's a great program. It has really enhanced our regular physical education classes because we have the athletes out, so the kids don't feel like they're in with the jocks. They don't feel like they're lost because I teach a regular PE class as well. And the mindset is totally different, absolutely totally different. And what you get from those children is more, the kids that used to stand along the wall don't stand along the wall anymore. They're involved, they're having fun, they're playing. Kids don't want to miss PE. And that was a huge thing because they would do anything to get out of PE. They didn't like it. So now they come to mindfulness and they're a part of that, or they're in the regular classroom and excelling like you wouldn't believe. So I thank Mr. Newell for this, and I think it's really helped our PE department excel.
Who remembers writing sentences for not dressing out in PE? Yeah. So we really took time focusing on our policies and our procedures in terms of every avenue, in terms of making sure that just in general PE is a safe environment from the moment students come into class, entering the locker room. We had almost like we had not shot clocks, just clocks in. Hey, as soon as this bell's done, you got to be out. And then, so really just the time that students are engaged in the locker room was cut down a lot, and that helped with a lot of behaviors and things like that. But really, the big thing that we focused on is the dress cut policy change. In the past, after 4 dress cuts for the quarter, students failed PE, and then it made it very, very difficult for them to pass the next quarter and pass for the semester. So when we moved to a semester-based grade, so we really focused on the why. Why are students not dressing out? Why are they not engaged in PE? What do we need to change in terms of our policies to help them get there? And like we said, moving from a quarter grade to a semester grade and just making more accountability and restorative justice for these students when they don't dress out, so that one dress cut did not ultimately affect their grade as it would previously. So the first time a student receives a dress cut in PE, the first time they grab a reflection paper, so this works on the restorative justice, and we get a lot of really good feedback from these students. They write a 3-paragraph paper, which is really difficult for high school students sometimes, but they're talking about why they did not participate or dress out. It could have been because they just simply forgot their clothes. Maybe their clothes didn't get washed over the weekend, and maybe they were in a financial spot and they didn't have money to rent, or they feel like they couldn't approach friends to ask for money to rent PE clothes. So by answering these questions, not just why they didn't dress out, but also how it will affect their grade and how they'll be more prepared in the future, we really saw a dramatic change in the amount of dress cuts that we issue throughout every day. And if you look at the fall 2023, that was 290 dress cuts just in one semester. Then if you look at the fall of 2024, just changing our policies, that was down to about 97. And then spring semester, seniors get senioritis. That date is a little skewed, but that was only about 125 or so. And then not only are students, like we said, receiving less dress cuts, but they're aware more so of the penalties. First dress cut, they get the reflection form, they have to fill that out. Second time, they're getting a Friday night school. Third time, also Friday night school. Those continue to add up, and then the fourth on 10% grade cut. So a student who had a 93 then goes to an 83, and guess what? They have 3 Friday night schools to serve as well. And something that works really, really well for us is when a student takes in a no dress, they're getting a pass from whoever their teacher is, and then that teacher is sending an email to our assistant principals, Mrs. Resnick and Mr. Meyer, and typically our ISS teacher is also included on that. And if the student doesn't have a pass, they don't make it to ISS. So sometimes we forget. We gotta, write those out. But like I said, students in ISS, we get the feedback from them that they did make it where they're supposed to be. So that cuts down on students wandering the halls, because there's accountability from everybody knowing students are where they're supposed to be. And then also the feedback from the assistant principals of when they check in with this kid, not only about their reflection form, but hey, why didn't you participate in it today? And sometimes we've been able to find students where they're at, and if they've needed PE shoes, we've gotten them shoes. If it's been money for PE clothes and we didn't know they were on the free and reduced, or they weren't there but they needed to be, helps us with that accountability as well, so we're able to help meet our students where they're at. And then we're also seeing higher grades and better participation in PE, because like these other teachers have talked about, students who previously would be on the sidelines would be like going 3 locker columns down, hey, do you have $2 so I can rent? Like, they want to be in class, and that's really, really good.